Well, how did Journey to the River come to be a collection of poems? Well, it sort of started with David Wagner. Actually, it started with Theodore Retke. One night I was driving over to Laura Grover's house, a Northwest poet who's since deceased. In fact, the book is dedicated to Laura Grover. In fact, I brought Laura Grover here to Omaha when I was teaching at UNO, and she read and lectured and taught students in the Writers' Workshop there. People still talk about her. At any rate, somebody read a passage from a new book edited by David Wagner from the notebooks and archives of Theodore Retke called Straw for the Fire, titled Straw for the Fire. And they read What I've Learned from Sleep. I think that's the title of it, which is really patchwork little things he found in the notebooks and stuff that he put together as a single poem. And he created poem after poem after poem after poem after poem for Retke from Retke's notes. I listened to that poem. I was driving to Laura's, and it so caught me, its depth and its wisdom and its charm and its play with words, because Retke always just did delight me. I had to stop the car and park it alongside the street so I could focus on that wonderful poem. It's a long poem, a kind of meditation poem. I was so taken by it. I mean, I wanted to write that way. I had no idea how to go about writing that way because, we all have our own voices. At any rate, then a friend of mine got me a copy of that book, actually signed by David Wagner, and because I was still, I think I was still a student at Seattle University when I got that book as a birthday present. I think Laura Grover actually took it in and had him sign it. No, I think I knew David by then. I can't remember. But at any rate, what David wrote in it was to Fred Zydek, who should be doing this for me someday, which means I should be signing a book for him someday. So I guess, yeah, he already knew of my work, because I think, I was a student of his. God, when you get old, you can't remember all this stuff. At any rate, one of the things that he assigned me to do, knowing how much I loved that book on Retke, he thought I should spend the better part of a quarter, they were in the quarters basis out there, down in the Retke archives, just leafing through things and reading things. And that's an experience all by itself. I mean, you have to wear gloves. You're allowed to touch some things, not allowed to touch other things. They bring them to you. They turn the pages. I just got immersed in Retke's, because he'd sit up there at the Blue Moon and write bits and pieces of stuff that he would never get into poems, never got them into poems, stuff that were in his notebooks. And I was to respond in a poem to that experience for my grade for the semester, for the quarter. And I wrote a poem called Journey to the River. It's about my trip to the river, which is the archive, and my trip away from what I take with me when I leave the river. It's not an especially long poem. There are many of the meditation, but I called it a meditation poem because I didn't know what else to call it. And Laura thought it was very good. David thought it was wonderful, and Laura thought it was very good, and she thought I should submit it to California Quarterly, Sandra McPherson, all of that. And I did, and it got published there. And so I was encouraged to start writing more meditations. They aren't numbered in the book chronologically. I often changed the numbers of them. Sometimes I wrote 4 and 5 and assigned it the same number, and finally just kept one of them, or bits and pieces from all 5 into one. And they really aren't meditations in the strictest sense of the word, but they're things you will ponder. Some of them are very long, some of them are very short, and moving from verse to verse, passage to passage, sometimes it's like walking through a house of mirrors, where an image just keeps changing and stretching and changing and stretching, and finally you realize you're looking at yourself, that kind of thing. So, I hope that if you bought a book and like it, that would, like all my books, if you buy one and you read it and you like it, that when Christmas comes and birthdays come, you buy a few more and support your local poet, for God's sakes. Thanks.